YouTube! Like, share, subscribe, let's ride. Back again with another banger. Here with my partner, them. You know what I'm saying? We back again with another motherfucking hood war stories. This is part of the reason why I have over 1K subscribers. I'ma forever remain faithful to these kind of videos. Y'all already know how we do. So without further ado, subscribe is free. Stop playing with me. Let's get it.
Welcome to Hood War Stories. In this episode, I'll be discussing the life of infant Nitemare. Dante Kennedy was born on December 29th, 1998, in Los Angeles, California. He attended Hillcrest Elementary School. He was raised in the Baldwin Village neighborhood of Los Angeles, infamously known as the Jungles, or the Jays, an urban fortress composed of high-density apartments and tropical vegetation. The Jungles are still unsafe today, but in the early 2000s, it was on another level. Those were the training day days. Guys 20 deep in red.
That's when I first heard about the Jungle. When I watched Training Day. I ain't never heard about the Jungle. But when I watched Training Day, I knew them niggas were nothing to fuck with. When I heard it was a real place, I was like, oh yeah. One way in, one way out? Nah. I knew niggas wasn't nothing to fuck with.
On every block, monitoring every car that goes in and out. For a while, it was a no-go zone, as you would enter at your own risk. Young black kids growing up in this type of setting more than likely get swallowed into the Black P Stones, the gang that has its area on deadlock. This neighborhood is so deep and active that you basically are a member by living there.
Damn.
BPS recruits heavily, but the actual put-on process is not easy and is selective. Nitemare would join BPS in his early teen years.
Damn.
Infant Nitemare made it a point to be a standout member from jump. He was considered a part of the 10% of gang members who are really active in the field. These are the real line pushers, patrolling the neighborhood and banging on people. Nitemare was always known to carry a gun. He primarily focused on the top shooters from rival gangs and prioritized knocking them off. By the time he was 17, he gained high status and rank within BPS. His earned rank was a combination of factors. Nitemare was super solid and very respected, and was very ambitious to get money. He had a good record with the hands and was always down to fight. Alleged bodies and numerous attempts propelled his reputation as one of the top young shooters in South Central. Nitemare was down to kill and do life in prison or die himself in the process. After the Rolling 40s and the Harlem 30s, Nitemare hated 18th Street the most. BPS and 18th Street's war goes back decades. In the mid-90s, a few 18th Streeters lived in the Jungles off Ursula Avenue in one apartment. They tried to set up shop and sling drugs on that block. BPS told them it was a no-go. When the Ursula clique continued to sales when things got hectic. After Ursula got pressed, the Rancho clique and some other gunners from other cliques responded with gunfire. BPS responded with full court pressure, shooting up Ursula Ave every day. Shootouts would occur from out the window onto the street and from apartment to apartment in the Jungles. It was so much heat the Ursula clique had to vacate the Jays and stay in the Rancho Park clique's hood. The Rancho Park clique were firing back on Ursula's behalf. Even black kids walking to Dorsey High School were getting shot. Most of the Ursula locals were wound up getting absorbed into the Outset's clique. And that's who's been in the thick of it with BPS, along with the Smiley Drive clique. Nitemare was known for bouncing out, pop out, and shoot you type. But he also had a sneaky side. On one hot night, Nitemare ventured into 18th Street's turf. There he spotted 3 18th Streeters outside on the street talking. Nitemare allegedly got out on foot, crept up from behind, and domed the 18th Streeter. 2 additional shots were fired, but they both missed the other targets. Nitemare gathered himself and fled off into the night. The sneak attack was allegedly one of his first bodies, and the 18th Streeters got a clear view of his face. After that murder, Nitemare briefly shifted his focus to another enemy that was in close proximity, the West Boulevard Crips. Allegedly, there was some back and forth dialogue being exchanged on social media. Threats like "you know what it is when I see you" were being sent. And it didn't take long. Nitemare allegedly spots him near the intersection of Crenshaw and Adams. These cross streets is a point of conflict, as multiple gangs lurk near these borders.
My nigga was getting busy. He wasn't wasting no time. He wasn't playing no game. Nigga said, I got him onto the net. Pow, pow. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't playing no game.
And often are bound to run into each other. After spotting him, Nitemare allegedly chased his victim down in the streets and completed his mission. There's no one Nitemare hated more than the Rolling 40s. In fact, this has been BPS's top enemy for more than a decade, especially among the younger generation. Nitemare labeled himself Mr. 40K, and he earned that title, shooting up the 40s on a weekly basis, from the avenues to Parkside, but especially the dark side were all getting lit up. Nitemare was putting in a ton of work and was becoming a true nightmare in the streets. His name rang bells, and his gunplay put everyone on notice. He was an active shooter and had no intention of slowing down.
This little nigga was putting in that more work. This little nigga had niggas scared, dog. I'm telling you. That's crazy. It's these type of niggas you gotta always watch out for, dog. Think it's a game you want.
As Nitemare rose to one of the top doubters in the city, he began to prioritize killing other top shooters from rival hoods. Africa, also known as Tiny J-Stone, was an extremely active, high-ranking member from the 89 East Coast Crips. Fast forward to July 29th, 2018, at 12:40 a.m. Africa is hanging out with rolling 40 members near 43rd and Vermont. Nitemare and other BPS members all saw it that night, driving around looking for a 40 Crip to kill. They end up pulling up to 43rd and Vermont and find just what they were looking for.
That's crazy.
Africa and a few rolling 40 Crip members. That's a 2-for-1 special in Nitemare's eyes. Nitemare then jumps out and specifically tries to kill Africa first. He lets off numerous shots, and bullets start flying. But instead of hitting Africa, a 40 Crip named Tiny Hardhead got hit. 2 others were also shot. Hardhead was pronounced dead in the street at 12:50 a.m. Nitemare and another gunman ran to 2 separate vehicles, which fled the scene. Tiny Hardhead was a factor in the 40s, and he was known for shooting and pressing the issue.
Hardhead is that trip.
They gon' photograph my bro. I ain't even on no scene making, bro. I'm photograph my pop.
He on the phone calling his homies.
I pop that y'all niggas gon' do nothing, nigga. I'm photograph. I stay shooting y'all niggas.
It's 4 of y'all though. It's only 3 of them.
Which I need a burner cut. We don't got no burners.
It's always the female that be stay running the mouth, that stay instigating, dog. You want some shit to really pop off? Have a couple females around some niggas that's real prideful. It's gonna go down. All you gotta hear is the female say, "Dang, you gonna let him talk to you like that?" Boom. It's going down every time.
Head up, cuz.
Originally, when he was killed, there was speculation in the city whether it was the 5 Deuce Hoovers or BPS's work. But as Nitemare got away that night, Africa got a glimpse of his face. Nitemare was wearing a hoodie, and it was dark, but Africa was almost certain it was him. Africa then told the 40s who he thought he saw, and word traveled to the 50s. Tiny Hardhead was deeply connected to the 557s, so both hoods took this loss personally. Retaliation was guaranteed. The jungles were shot up weekly for almost 2 months. And for good measure, the 557s and 40s also hit up 5 Deuce for a good 2 months also. The results were 3 people dead, but their main prize was still lurking around in the shadows. That's until October 3rd, 2018, shortly after 5 p.m. Nitemare was standing on the sidewalk with a couple brims in their territory. 2 people then walked up and began firing at the group, striking Nitemare and 2 others. Bodies dropped to the ground, and everyone tries to flee. Nitemare was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead at 5:51 p.m.
Damn, at 19.
Rumors spread that the alleged gunman was a rolling 40s member and a stud from 50s, and some people were shocked that it was a female shooter involved. Now that the trophy was gone, BPS responded with full force, and the 40s felt major impact in the months that followed. After Nitemare's death, he was super dissed all over social media from various hoods. Roller 40 members even dropped diss songs mocking his death. That's a clear indication of how much of a problem he was in the streets.
I see.
The top shooters usually don't last long. The common outcome is either early death or life in prison. BPS is still honoring Nitemare to this day.
Sheesh. A bro died at 19 years old, bro. That's crazy. Like, and this nigga was putting in that much work at 19, bro. That's crazy. But like bro said, top shooters don't usually last long, bro. They usually end up dead in jail for life. That's how it should be, dog. Damn, gang. That's crazy. Bro putting in that much work. Woo. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it in the comments right now, man. Smash that like button, subscribe, it's free. Stop playing with me. Y'all know I'm gonna stay on these type of videos. Y'all know I'm gonna always react to them. It's your boy Tony Racks, Racks Media. Get your racks up. Let's get it.